My beloved child, do not run from this moment. Do not rush past these words. Not because you are cursed if you leave, but because you are loved if you stay. You saw a title that shook your spirit. It whispered that heaven would abandon you. It threatened sickness, it dangled impossible money, it tried to pull you in through fear. Listen closely. That is not how your Creator speaks. Love does not blackmail. Eternal light does not threaten to walk away. Archangel Michael says, I stand beside you now, sword of truth drawn, to cut through every lie that has wrapped around your heart. You have been living with fear for a long time. Fear of being left. Fear of losing your health. Fear of never having enough. You have clicked on so many promises. So many messages that said, if you do not watch, you will lose your blessing, if you do not share, you will miss your miracle. Your soul is tired of spiritual blackmail. Your heart is tired of being scared into hope. You are weary of being told that love is conditional, that favor is a game you must win. But heaven is not a slot machine. Your Creator is not a gambler with your fate. The divine does not say, obey this video, or I will abandon you. I know how deeply that fear runs in you. You do not just fear a video's threat. You fear that everyone will leave. You fear that even God will get tired of you. You have watched people walk away. Friends. Lovers. Family. You learned to brace yourself for the sound of closing doors. So when you saw those words that said, I will leave you if you do not watch this now, something inside you shook, because it touched the old wound. Hear me. That wound is not a prophecy. It is a scar. It tells you where you have been hurt, not where you are destined to go. The one who formed you in secret does not abandon what was made in love. The one who breathed life into your lungs does not threaten to take it back for missing a message. You looked at the warning about hospitals. It grabbed your fear of sickness, your memories of waiting rooms, your silent terror of the unknown inside your body. You have felt the ache in your chest, the heaviness in your limbs, the racing of your thoughts at night, and wondered if your body is about to break. So when you read words that said you were destined for a hospital bed, it did not feel like a random threat. It felt like the echo of your own anxiety. But hear this. Heaven is not sending you fear of sickness. Heaven is sending you wisdom, gentleness, and the quiet nudge to care for the life you carry. You are not cursed for turning off a video. You are not doomed to sickness for not clicking. Your health is not chained to the length of your watch time. Yes, your body needs your attention. Yes, you are called to listen to it, to rest when you are exhausted, to seek help when something is wrong. But that is not punishment. That is love inviting you to stewardship. That is tenderness, not terror. That is care, not a curse. You also saw the promise of money, more money than most hearts can even imagine. A number so massive it made your mind spin for a moment. For a heartbeat you wondered, what if this is how my struggle ends? What if this is the shortcut out of debt, out of stress, out of never having enough? You have known the weight of empty accounts. You have known the sharp shame of bills you could not pay on time, of prayers whispered over broken finances. So when you read that a fortune could appear in your account if you only opened a message, hope and suspicion fought inside you. Archangel Michael says, "Do not be ashamed of wanting relief. Do not be ashamed of longing for abundance, for stability, for provision. Your Creator is not against your needs. Heaven is not offended by your wish to breathe easier, to stop counting every dollar in fear. But know this, true abundance is not a chain on your attention. It is not a threat that says, if you skip this, you will stay poor forever. The light of heaven does not play games with you. The divine does not wave riches in front of your face like a carrot tied to a stick, just to keep you clicking, hoping, chasing. You were not made to be manipulated. You were not made to live on edge, wondering if your whole life depends on what you tap on a screen. Right now, as you listen, I am not here to bind you in fear. I am here to unlock the door of your cage and hand you the key to your own heart. My beloved child, you are not one click away from being abandoned. You are not one scroll away from losing the love of heaven. If you walk away from these words, you are still loved. If you never hear this message again, you are still seen. But if you stay, it is not to earn favor. It is to receive understanding, to let a deeper truth anchor within you. You have walked through fire. You have cried in secret. You have smiled on the outside while your spirit whispered, "I am tired." You have felt spiritually used. You have given attention, time, and hope to voices that promised everything and delivered nothing but disappointment. Some of those voices spoke in the name of God. Some of those words came wrapped in spiritual language, but their roots were fear, control, and greed, not love, freedom, and truth. Today, heaven confronts that pattern. This is not about a title on a video. This is about the story your soul has believed for far too long. The story that says you must always be afraid of missing it. Afraid of missing the one action that would finally make you worthy, safe, or blessed. Archangel Michael says, the truth is simpler and deeper than that. You were loved before you did anything right, and you are loved even in what you got wrong. The threat, "I will leave you if you do not watch," is not the voice of God. The voice of God says, "I will never leave you, no matter what you watch." The warning, "You are destined for a hospital bed, if you do not obey a message," is not the decree of heaven. It is the echo of fear trying to masquerade as prophecy. The promise, "You will wake up rich if you only follow this instruction," is not the covenant of your Creator. It is the bait of a world that knows your pain. But today, a different voice reaches you. One that knows your past and still delights in your future. One that has walked with you in every dark night, even when you thought you were alone. I have seen you standing at the sink, hands in water, mind swirling with worry. I have heard you whisper, "If there is anyone listening, please help me." I was there when you lay in bed, phone in your hand, tears in your eyes, staring up at the ceiling wondering if you would ever feel truly safe. You did not imagine that presence. You were not talking into an empty void. Your words traveled straight into the heart of your Maker. You asked for a sign that you are not forgotten. You asked for a sign that you are protected. You asked for a sign that help is real and not just a fantasy to keep you going. So heaven answers, but not in the way of fear, not with a contract of terror, not with a countdown clock on your life. Heaven answers with truth. With a voice that does not need to scare you in order to reach you, because love is enough. Listen. Your life is not hanging by the thin thread of one moment. Your days are held in hands far stronger than any algorithm, any video, any human voice. Yes, your decisions matter. Yes, your choices shape your path. But no single play, pause, or scroll determines whether you are worthy of love. The divine is not calculating your worth based on your attention span. Your value is not measured by how long you can stay on a screen. The threats that frightened you were pointing at something real, though. Real fears. Real wounds. Real places of ache inside you. So let us speak to those places now. Let us talk about the fear of abandonment, the fear of sickness, and the fear of lack. You have been bracing yourself for people to leave you. You have been expecting rejection, even where there is no sign of it. You look for hints that someone is pulling away. You replay conversations in your mind, searching for what you did wrong, why you were not enough. That exhaustion, beloved, is not your destiny. You were not designed to live in constant hypervigilance of being left. The love of heaven is not like human love. It does not get bored. It does not give up on you because you are slow to change. When you stumble, heaven does not roll its eyes. When you doubt, heaven does not cross its arms. You are not on probation with God. You are not one mistake away from permanent exile. You are carried, again and again. Even when you walked away, even when you ignored the gentle pull, even when you chose numbing over healing, the presence never left the room. I stood at your side when you made choices you regret. I shielded you from things you did not even know threatened you. You think you are alive today because you managed on your own. But there were nights when heaven's protection surrounded you like an unseen fortress. Accidents that did not happen. Words you did not say at the worst time. People who had the power to break you but chose not to. You call it luck. You call it coincidence. I call it mercy and purpose. I call it proof you are meant to be here. Now, about your body. You have been scared of it failing you. You have felt symptoms, tension, dread, and you try not to think about it. You have delayed checkups. You have brushed off pain. You have told yourself you are too busy to take care of yourself. Fear whispers that if you look too closely, you will find something terrible. So you delay, distract, deny, and the anxiety grows in the shadows. Archangel Michael says, heaven is not sending you fear of hospitals, but wisdom about stewardship. Hear the difference. You are not being punished with sickness for anything you did not watch. You are being invited into partnership with the life inside you. Pay attention to your body not because you are doomed, but because you are precious. Because this body is the vessel through which your purpose flows. When you rest, it is not laziness. It is agreement with heaven's rhythm. When you seek help, it is not weakness, it is courage. Release the idea that you must collapse before you are allowed to care for yourself. Release the belief that the only wake-up call comes as a disaster. Heaven's wake-up call is gentler. A tug in your spirit. A whisper to slow down. A nudge to listen to what hurts. If you feel afraid right now, breathe with me. Place your hand on your heart, and feel it beating. That heartbeat is not an accident. That heartbeat is an answered word from heaven, spoken over you before you were born, live. With every beat, that word continues, live. 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 Not in constant terror, but in purpose, fullness, and peace. Now let us speak of money, of provision, of the gnawing ache of lack. This world has taught you that your value is equal to your balance. You have watched numbers drop and felt your worth fall with them. You have watched numbers rise and felt briefly powerful, then empty again. You have imagined sudden windfalls, lottery moments of wealth that would fix everything overnight, erase every mistake, every debt, every fear. So when you read about riches dropping into your hands out of nowhere, if you simply opened a message, you felt the rush of, what if? Hear me, heaven is not against miracles. Heaven is not against sudden favor, unexpected opportunity, open doors. But heaven will never use greed to keep you in chains. It will never say, watch to the end or miss your fortune forever. True abundance is deeper than digits. It is ideas, creativity, favor, discipline. It is the ability to see opportunity where others see only endings. Your Creator intends to grow you, not just rescue you. To teach your hands to build, your mind to create, your heart to steward. Yes, doors can open. Yes, opportunities can appear. Yes, you can see provision greater than what you have known. But this is not a game of magic tricks. This is not about chasing every voice that promises effortless wealth. This is about alignment with purpose. I tell you this in love, heaven will not give you something that will destroy you. If sudden riches would crush your spirit, they are not a blessing yet. The abundance your soul truly seeks is not just money, it is freedom from the fear of never having enough. That freedom begins long before any transfer clears. It begins when you realize you are not alone in your struggle. You are not forsaken in your need. You are guided toward wisdom with every step. The same presence that guards your soul is able to guide your decisions. To lead you toward opportunities you could not have found alone. Ideas will come. Connections will appear. Strength to take small, faithful steps will grow inside you. You have been waiting for a single dramatic moment to save you. But often, heaven saves you through a series of small, steady choices. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not despise slow progress. Do not despise the days of simple faithfulness and quiet growth. Archangel Michael says, the doors of true abundance are opening for you through wisdom, not manipulation. Now feel what is happening in your heart. The chains of fear are loosening. The tightness in your chest is beginning to soften. You are realizing that you are not one wrong click away from total disaster. You are not on trial in front of heaven. This realization is the beginning of release. Release from spiritual fear tactics. Release from health panic. Release from financial obsession. You are stepping out of the storm of threats and into the calm of truth. You are stepping out of the noise and into the quiet voice of love. Even now, light is entering the room where you sit. Not a light you can see with your eyes, but a warmth your spirit can feel. You are not imagining that warmth. You are not making it up. This is what it feels like when heaven draws near to reassure you. The lies said, if you leave, love will leave. Truth says, love stays, even if you walk away. The lies said, you are condemned to sickness, and only this moment can save you. Truth says, you are invited to stewardship and wisdom, not chained by threats. The lies said, wealth is given only through fear and control. Truth says, provision flows through purpose, not through panic. Your heart is recognizing this. Something in you knows this voice sounds different from the voices that used you. This voice is not frantic. It is firm, patient, steady. It honors your free will. It honors your intelligence. You are not being forced, you are being invited. You are not being trapped, you are being set free. Feel the release, beloved. The release from believing you have to earn every drop of favor through anxiety and exhaustion. Feel the release from needing every sign to be dramatic. From believing that God only speaks through flashing warnings and huge promises. Heaven speaks in the steady as well as the sudden. In the quiet nudge as much as the thunderclap. You are learning to recognize the gentle as truly divine. Now, let us move deeper into the revelation of who you really are. Because that is where the promise lives. Not in fear, but in identity. You are not a random soul lost in a crowd of billions. You are known individually, seen intimately, loved personally. There is a design on your life. A pattern of purpose woven through your talents, your story, your desires, even your pain. The battles you have fought are not meaningless. The nights you survived are not wasted. Every tear you have cried is known. Every silent question has been heard. You have asked, is there really a plan for me, or am I just surviving each day? Heaven answers, there is a plan. Not a plan of constant fear. Not a plan of manipulation and chaos. A plan of growth, healing, service, and joy. You are meant to carry light into dark places, to comfort others with the same comfort you are receiving now. You are meant to stand as a living contradiction to the lie that God only speaks through fear. You are meant to be proof that love can change a life. This is why the threats hit you so hard. This is why the fear-based messages got such a hold on you. Because they were a twisted reflection of something real, your calling. Your calling is to hear heaven and carry what you hear into the world. Your calling is to be led by love, not driven by terror. The enemy of your soul cannot create purpose, so it twists it. It takes your sensitivity to the spiritual and tries to chain it to panic. But now, the chain is breaking. You are learning the sound of truth. You are realizing that real divine messages bring peace, even when they bring correction. Real words from heaven do not use your trauma as leverage. They do not poke your wounds just to keep your eyes glued in fear. Real words from heaven acknowledge your pain, but they do not weaponize it. They hold it, heal it, honor it. Feel this. The promise over your life is not, you will get rich only if you never miss a message. The promise over your life is, you are never alone in your need. I will guide, sustain, and strengthen you through every season. The promise over your life is not, you are one slip away from catastrophic sickness. The promise is, I am with you in your body, leading you toward wisdom and care. The promise over your life is not, love is fragile and will shatter if you make one mistake. The promise is, my love for you is unbreakable. You are being invited to rest in that promise. To stand in it like solid ground under your bare feet. There will still be challenges. There will still be choices. There will still be days that require courage and patience. But those days will not be lived under a curse. They will be lived under a covering of grace, guided by a presence that refuses to abandon you. Now, let us speak of restoration. Because heaven is not simply correcting lies, heaven is also rebuilding what fear has broken. Fear has stolen your peace. Fear has made it hard to sleep. Fear has made it hard to trust any message, any promise, any person. Today, restoration begins. Piece by piece, your trust is being rebuilt. Not blind trust, but wise trust. Trust in a God who does not threaten to walk away. Trust in a love that does not demand you earn every blessing. Restoration of your mind is beginning. Thought patterns built on panic are being replaced by patterns of truth. You will notice it in the coming days. You will catch a fearful thought and feel a new strength rising to answer it. You will hear yourself say, "Wait, that is not the voice of love." You will find the courage to turn away from manipulative words, to close what tries to scare you into obedience, and open what truly feeds your soul. Restoration of your relationship with your own body is beginning. You will feel a new respect for its signals, a new willingness to care for it. You will begin to see your body not as a ticking time bomb, but as a sacred gift that you and heaven steward together. Restoration of your sense of provision is beginning. You will notice small but real shifts, chances to act wisely, nudges to pursue new ideas. Where you once felt paralyzed, you will feel empowered to take steps. Where you once expected lack, you will begin to expect guidance. And restoration of your sense of worth is beginning in this very moment. You are realizing that you do not have to be terrified to be loved. You are realizing that your Creator delights in you. Not in the click you give, but in the heart you carry. Archangel Michael says, "The courts of heaven have not ruled against you. They have ruled for your restoration." Favor is not a threat. It is a gift. Mercy is not a trap. It is an embrace. You are stepping into a new chapter where you walk with your head higher, your back straighter, your trust anchored. You will begin to see yourself as heaven sees you, not as a desperate consumer of spiritual content, but as a beloved child, a warrior, a light carrier. You will speak differently about yourself. You will pray differently. You will even consume media differently, with discernment instead of desperation. Where you once chased every voice that used the name of God, you will now test the spirit behind the words. You will ask, "Does this sound like love?" If it sounds like control, if it sounds like threats, if it sounds like manipulation, you will feel the freedom to turn it off. You will not be cursed for turning it off. You will be walking in wisdom. You will be honoring the new discernment heaven is giving you. This is part of your empowerment. You are not just being comforted, you are being equipped. You are being trained in truth. You are learning to recognize the frequency of heaven's voice. Steady. Firm. Loving. Never frantic, never blackmailing. You are learning that sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is say no. No to fear. No to manipulation. No to voices that threaten your peace. Your boundaries are holy. Your attention is sacred. Your heart is not a marketplace for fear-based messages. Heaven celebrates when you guard what enters your spirit. Heaven rejoices when you choose truth over terror. And as you make these choices, as you align with love over fear, you will notice something powerful. Your life will begin to change. Not because of superstition, but because your agreements are shifting. You are breaking agreement with lies and making agreement with truth. When you agree with the lie that you are one step from abandonment, you live in panic. When you agree with the truth that you are held, you live with courage. When you agree with the lie that sickness is always stalking you, you live in dread. When you agree with the truth that you are guided in caring for yourself, you live with wisdom. When you agree with the lie that you are either instantly rich or forever doomed, you live in fantasy or despair. When you agree with the truth that you are led into steady provision, you live in hope and responsibility. These new agreements will shape your actions. Your actions will shape your days. Your days will shape your future. This is the real miracle. The miracle of a transformed mind, a healed heart, and a steady spirit. This miracle is already unfolding in you. You can feel it. You may not have words for it yet, but you sense the shift. You are not watching this because you are under a curse. You are watching this because you are under a calling. A calling to rise. A calling to heal. A calling to walk with heaven in truth, not in terror. My beloved child, I bless your mind with clarity. I bless your heart with peace. I bless your body with wisdom and care. I bless your hands to create, to build, to steward. I bless your feet to walk paths of purpose and protection. I bless your nights to be filled with deeper rest, less haunted by anxious thoughts, more anchored in trust. I bless your days to be filled with quiet evidence that you are guided, favored, and never abandoned. When triggers come, when you see another message that tries to drag you back into fear, remember this moment. Remember the calm that entered your chest. Remember the warmth that touched your spirit. Remember the words that cut through the noise. This is not how God speaks. Archangel Michael says, carry this discernment as armor. Carry this truth as a shield. Carry this love as your banner. You are stepping out of a chapter of spiritual confusion and into a chapter of spiritual clarity. You will not be easily shaken. You will still feel emotions. You will still have questions. But underneath it all, a deeper confidence will remain. Confidence that you are held. Confidence that you are heard. Confidence that you are guided, even when you do not see the full map. This is your promise: you are not alone. You are not forsaken. You are not one click away from catastrophe. You are one breath away from remembering who holds you. You are one thought away from returning to peace. Whenever fear rises, you can close your eyes and whisper, "I am loved without threats." Say it now, quietly, even if only inside, "I am loved without threats. I am guided without fear." Feel how those words settle into your spirit. They are not empty affirmations. They are alignment with heaven's heart for you. From this day forward, see yourself as a partner with heaven, not a prisoner of spiritual fear. Walk with dignity, with discernment, with hope. Your story is not over. Your best chapters have not yet been written. The ink of grace is still wet on the page. You will see restoration in relationships. You will see healing in your own self-perception. You will see doors of provision open as you act with wisdom and courage. You will become an anchor for others, a safe place, someone who can say, "I have known fear, but I found a greater love." You will be able to tell them, God does not threaten you to keep you close. Love does not need tricks to hold you. You are safe to rest. And as you speak, the same light that is touching you now will flow through you to them. This is how heaven multiplies miracles. Not always through massive deposits of money, but through massive deposits of peace. Not always through dramatic interventions, but through hearts awakened to truth. You are part of that awakening. You are part of that movement of love. Your healing is not just for you, it is for everyone your life will touch. So stand up in your spirit now. Lift your head inside, even if your body is still. Claim your place as beloved, not threatened. I surround you with light. I cover you with protection. I partner with heaven's will for your restoration and rising. Walk from this moment knowing you are held. Choose wisely, act bravely, rest deeply in the love that will not leave you. You are seen. You are known. You are chosen for more than fear. You are chosen for freedom. And as you go, remember this above all: nothing, absolutely nothing, can separate you from the love that has always, always held you. And yet, there is more I must tell you, beloved. More than warnings, more than correction. Because heaven does not only remove lies, heaven plants truth. Heaven does not only expose darkness, it fills the space with light. You have heard that you are loved. You have heard that you are not cursed by a scroll or a click. Now you must hear what heaven actually sees when it looks at you. Archangel Michael says, "When I look at you, I do not see a failure. I do not see someone always late to their destiny. I see a soul who has survived more than most know. I see the quiet battles you fight daily inside your own mind. I see the way you keep going even when no one is clapping for you. I see the days you get out of bed when your heart feels like a heavy stone. I see the times you smile to make sure the ones you love do not worry. You call it just coping. Heaven calls it courage. You call it barely making it. Heaven calls it resilience. You have underestimated your strength because fear has been so loud. But even with fear shouting in your ears, you have kept moving forward. Think of how many times you wanted to give up but did not. Think of how many times you thought, "This is it, I'm done," and yet you rose again. That is not weakness, beloved. That is evidence of something indestructible inside you. Something that threats and manipulation could never fully crush. You are not as fragile as your fears tell you. You are tender, yes. But you are not breakable beyond repair. The same Spirit that breathed life into stars breathed life into you. That breath has not left your lungs. That is why, even when fear-based messages try to control you, something in you resists. Something in you whispers, "This does not feel like love." Something in you knows there must be a better way. That whisper is heaven's fingerprint inside you. That unease is not doubt, it is discernment trying to wake up. You were never meant to follow every voice that shouts, only the one who speaks in truth and peace. You are learning that difference now. There is another layer I must peel back gently. The threat, "I will leave you if you do not watch," was not just about a video. It sounded like people in your past. People who made their love conditional. People who used silence and distance to punish you when you did not obey. You have known the pain of someone saying in words or in actions, "If you do not do what I want, I will withdraw my love." You learned early to keep others happy to avoid being abandoned. To say yes when your soul screamed no. So when you see spiritual messages with that same energy, it does not just scare you, it reopens old wounds. But hear this with all of heaven's tenderness: people may have walked away from you, but God did not. People may have made their love a weapon, but heaven's love is a shelter. You are not a burden. You are not too much. You are not too broken to be truly loved. You are not an inconvenience to your Creator. The Holy One does not sigh when you stumble back asking for help again. You are not an annoyance, you are a delight. Yes, even with your issues. Yes, even with your doubts. Yes, even on your worst day, especially on your worst day. That is why heaven sent this message, not to terrify you into obedience, but to pull you out of the arms of fear and back into the arms of real love. That love will not say, "If you stop listening, I disappear." That love says, "Even when you wander, I will look for you." Your heart has been trained to expect people to give up on you. Trained to think, "If they really knew me, they would leave." But love knew you before your first mistake. Knew you before your first secret. Knew you before your first wound. And still chose you. This is the revelation: you cannot surprise God with who you are. You cannot shock heaven with what you struggle with. You are fully seen and still fully wanted. Fully known and still fully pursued. Nothing about you makes heaven flinch or pull back. Breathe that in. Let your shoulders drop. Let the tightness in your neck ease. You are not always one step from rejection. Now, let us turn again to the fear of sickness that gripped you. The idea that your life is on a ticking countdown to a hospital bed. You have seen loved ones suffer. You have watched health fade. You have visited rooms that smelled of medicine and quiet fear. So the threat of hospitalization hits a very real part of your story. It pokes at grief you may not have fully processed. Today, heaven does not deny that sickness exists. Heaven does not pretend that bodies are never fragile. But heaven also does not dangle fear over your head like a chain. Your future is not written by a random threat on a screen. Your body is precious. Your life is valuable. You are worthy of care, not doom. Archangel Michael says, instead of fear, receive an invitation. An invitation to treat your body like a sacred assignment, not an enemy. Let this be your turning point, not into panic, but into partnership with wisdom. You and heaven, together, caring for you. If your body has been whispering through fatigue, aches, restlessness, listen with love, not with dread. If you feel the nudge to rest more, to move more, to seek professional help, see that as God's kindness, not God's anger. You are not disobedient for needing help. You are not weak for saying, something is not right. Heaven will not mock you for seeing a doctor, for going to counseling, for reaching out to others. These are ways the divine works through human hands. These are instruments of care and healing in a physical world. You are not failing spiritually when you use practical wisdom. You are honoring the life you were given to steward. As you care for yourself, you break an old agreement with fear. You stop waiting for crisis to force you into change. There is strength in choosing to live on purpose instead of waiting for disaster. Heaven smiles on this choice. Now, let us return to the glittering bait of sudden wealth. The promise that if you only obeyed, unimaginable money would appear. You know deep down that this is not how heaven works. Yet your longing for relief made you almost want to believe it. Heaven does not shame you for that. It is human to want an easy way out. It is human to want every bill paid overnight, every worry erased in a moment. But your journey with money is part of your transformation. Not just so you can have, but so you can become. Become someone who is not ruled by lack. Become someone who is not ruled by greed. Become someone who can handle blessing without being crushed by it. There are old stories about money that need healing. Stories you inherited without even realizing. Maybe you were taught that money is always scarce. That there is never enough to relax. That survival is all there is. Maybe you saw money used as a tool of control. Given and taken away to make people obey. Maybe you watched those with money look down on those without it, and you promised yourself you would never become like that. So now, you have a complex relationship with wealth and provision. You both crave it and distrust it. You both chase it and resent it. Heaven understands this complexity. The path set before you is not to worship wealth, nor to reject it completely. You are called to see money rightly, as a tool, not a master. As a resource, not an identity. You are not defined by the number in your account. You are not worthless when that number is small. And if that number grows, you are not suddenly more loved than you were before. Heaven's love stays steady through every financial season. True abundance starts with this knowing, I am not alone in my needs. I am guided in my decisions. Heaven will not promise you an overnight fortune to manipulate you. Heaven will promise you presence, wisdom, and opportunities that match your purpose. You may receive ideas that lead to new income. You may meet people who open doors to better work. You may feel the courage to ask for what you are worth, to change unhealthy patterns, to walk away from what steals your peace. These are forms of provision, too. Not as flashy as sudden billions, but far more sustainable, far more real. Do not despise them because they look small at first. Acorns do not look like forests, but forests grow from them. Heaven is planting seeds in you, seeds of discipline, creativity, resilience. Water them with faith and action, and watch what grows. And as you are blessed, you will bless others. As you are strengthened, you will strengthen others. Your abundance will not be for you alone. It will flow through you like a river, not a stagnant pool. This is the kind of wealth heaven can trust in your hands. Wealth of character. Wealth of wisdom. Wealth of compassion and generosity. Now look again, with spiritual eyes, at the title that pulled you here. It tried to scare you, to bribe you, to control you. But heaven has turned it on its head. What was meant to bind you has become the doorway to your liberation. You came because you were afraid to miss something. You will leave knowing you cannot miss the love that never leaves. You came worried that if you did not obey this one moment, your body, your money, your future would collapse. You will leave knowing that your life is in bigger hands than any content creator, any algorithm, any human promise. This is redemption. To walk into a trap of fear and find instead a feast of truth. Archangel Michael says, this is how heaven works. Turning what was meant to harm you into what heals you. So now, let us go even deeper into your future. Not a future of sudden doom, but a future of gradual awakening. Imagine yourself a little time from now. You wake up and, for the first time in a while, your first thought is not dread. You still have responsibilities.